Hello, everybody. Welcome to Q&Angels. I'm so excited to have you here. And thanks for your patience. I'm Stephanie Lodge, your Angelic Ascension Advisor, coming to you live from the City of Angels here in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful day outside. I hope you're enjoying yours wherever you are, and giving you a big hug, because I am the hug angel, as you guys know, most of you at least. So we're just gathering here today for what I call Q&Angels. Q&Angels is essentially your opportunity to ask the angels any questions that might be on your heart or your mind, okay? I want to say this, I am going to be integrating a lot of energy here today. I can tell you this right now, because this is definitely going to be one for the books, I have a feeling. Oops, wrong banner. I'm trying to manage all the production side of this while I'm going live. Okay. So with that, welcome, welcome, welcome. There's a lot to cover. There's a lot of questions. I know some of you have asked your questions inside the Angelhood. I'll be getting to those first. And there's some questions that came in off my social media, private questions that have been asked from different friends and things. So I'll be covering a lot. I'll also be asking all of you to just take a minute to quiet your mind, get into your heart with me, because everything that I will be sharing here today, there could be a little bit of activation coming through. I'm literally surging, and for those of you who've worked with me long enough, you know what that means. So there's going to be some alchemy happening here today, whether we like it or not. Sometimes it just does. I'm going into the Angelhood right now. For those of you who don't know what the Angelhood is, it is my private social media network that I created last year to give us a safe and loving playground to connect. That is not in channels that are mainstream controlled, I guess you could say, in the sense that, censorship sometimes comes into play with those channels. So here we are in one of those channels on YouTube and another on Facebook, coming to you so that you know that there's this other location where if you want to ask some questions, that you can't get away with on the standard frameworks of the programs we live in, that that exists. So definitely go to theangelhood.com, invite your friends, let them know it exists. It's important. All right, I need a little sip of water. I'm burning up. You might be wondering what I'm drinking and why I'm drinking like this. First of all, this is part of something I created for everybody for self-devotion called Celestials. It's a product line. This is my angel cup. It has a little rainbow flare on it. And this is my crystal elixir wand inside, charging it so that I feel more connected to the elements that surround us, that are included in the crystal kingdom, or queendom, as I like to call it. So it gives a nice harmony to my water. All right, let me just take that down now. I just want to say I love you guys for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm going to see who's in the room with us. Hi, Jeanette. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Kat. Hi, other Wendy Reynolds. Welcome. Hi, Mary. Yeah, so much energy. Can I just tell you right now? It's actually, I'm going to take a minute to just create a halo to just hold the harmonic around me right now. Yeah, hold on a second. So much energy coming through. And you guys have been on other Q&Angels. It's not always like this. So I'm sure you're feeling it. Let's put some halo oil. All of my products you can find on shopcelestials.com, by the way, which I don't have scrolling here on the banners or anything, but we'll get them into you one way or the other on the comments. So what I do is I work with oils to get my system to recalibrate or reformat. Oftentimes when I'm really excited, or the angels or my councils come in and they're really on, and they were coming in an hour early today with so much to say, my body, it's like a surge. It's an energy that comes through, and it's working on my stuff, and then in turn getting me prepared to work with you guys. Anytime I'm broadcasting, we're doing some work. we're doing some alchemy, I prefer to call it. And that just means that if you have any distortions or static or energy going on in your system, these frequencies that I broadcast and transmit through my voice, basically, and my whole field, are designed to kind of course correct and reformat and shuffle all that toxic stuff out. Sometimes it's toxic, right? And so it's a little bit of angel detox you get in here, even though that's not my true intention for Q&Angels, it just naturally occurs. So I'm just letting you guys know that. So the disclaimer is, if you have any energy coming through, you get certain chills, you get certain activations, you feel light coming into your body, have your water handy, like I do. Bring in some water. I have a bunch of crystals off camera here, by the way, like a bunch of crystals. So this is also part of what's informing my system. Yeah, or just settling it in, getting it integrated. And I'm also tuning in all of you guys and what you're coming with. So this is part of this process. So it gives me a minute to tune into all of you. So thank you for your patience in that. All right, what I would like to say is invite your friends, because I have a feeling what's going to be flowing through here today will not necessarily survive the live. And what I mean by that is when we start to share certain information that isn't necessarily publicly approved, there are people getting censored. And this is in violation of our personal sovereignty and our right to debate, our right to express, our right to speak our truth, and our right to be, period. We have the right to be alive in whatever facet we want. We have the right to own this body to its fullest, operate it, right? Be fully accountable, responsible for what we are in the world. Hello, Shivananda, welcome. And Maggie, hi. I want to say this. Hi, Rosemary. I'm saying hello to all the angels. I want to say this. Please share this, because the more that this can get out there right now, and this is why there's a bit of a stall, they're telling me, in terms of starting this process, in terms of the information flowing through, is because there's some real deep information that needs to come through. And I'm going to say Stephanie in this moment, the operator of the machinery, is going, oh my God. And I'm just calming her down because, yeah, I'm a channel of 12 archangelic bandwidths of frequency, source consciousness, God, goddess, call it what you will. It is the entire spectrum of light that surrounds us. I've been doing this for over 15 years, unbeknownst to some of my closest family and friends for probably 5 of those years. And I would just say this, we are moving into a time where we must be in our truth. We must be in our full integrity. We must be in our full sovereignty now and take action for what we stand for. All right? We are in the time of the Magdalens rising to be the equilibrium or the equivalent to what many call the Christed masculine. Many have put that in the framework of Jesus. I prefer to call him Yeshua because that was his Aramaic true name. And there are a lot of codes of light, codes being programs that have controlled our consciousness for far too long. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that, and you'll see me breathe a lot, guys, just bear with me. What I mean by that is that there are energetics, we'll just say consciousness, on this planet that have been in control, that have been causing us to be divided, polarized in our consciousness. So it's almost like everybody has bipolar disorder in some way. The like consciousness itself, right, overall on the planet, is very polarized. And this is not a comment on the medical condition in any way. What I'm saying in this way is that there's a polarization of an us and them, a good and bad. There's always this external factor, right? Our belief that we are separate from what creates us. This is all I mean by this. Okay. And what has happened now is we are so inflamed in this consciousness. We've gotten so overinflamed in that frequency of division in so many ways, whether you look at our beliefs around politics, around our medical, what we should do with our bodies right now regarding this certain viral activity going on. Yeah, we're going to get to that. So what I'm going to say is there's a lot of division, and that is by design. Divide and conquer, some people might call it, but really what it comes down to is it's designed to disempower us so that we can't band in any way, shape, or form together to stand up for ourselves against those that would like to control the majority of the planet. Call them what you will. Choose your label. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I don't put my energy into that energy. All right? I see truth from a different angel angle. But what I will say is what has happened is any opportunity for truth to rise into the consciousness has now lost its fervor, its electric potential, because of the gaslighting, because of people just calling it conspiracy, because they're not comfortable with the truth. And this is a very dangerous thing, because if we cannot really get to the bottom of what is truth, right, we are putting ourselves in danger, because we can't make proper decisions if we don't have all the facts. And we don't allow for certain facts, well, then what happens? We're stuck in this place of cognitive dissonance, disbelief, things like that. So, what I've been seeing and what I've seen unfold is a lot of people getting into their self-righteousness, getting into the energy of, I know better than you, I'm superior to you, these kind of energies a little bit. And then there's a lot of the other energy, the other side of the equation, again, we're talking extremes here, is full shame, embarrassment, feeling insecure, feeling hunted, feeling if I come out and tell people the truth of what I believe, people are going to gaslight me, they're going to abuse me, they're going to bully me. So there's these extremes again. And in the middle is collateral damage. In the middle is the innocents, the ones that just think they're doing the right thing and they don't know. And they just do what they just do what they're told, perhaps. So I'm seeing a lot of interesting energy right now. And what I'm going to ask the councils about, which of course I'm already in stream with them, but my point is what I'm going to get really clear on is ask your questions that are going to be coming in live. So start asking. I'll be going in order. I will be going to the angelhood to get those in first. There weren't too many, luckily, so those on the live will get opportunity. And we'll do as much as we can. I'll address as many as I can. I have some questions, like I said, that came in early. But it is time for us to not just wait for Superman, wait for a savior, including a liquid savior, okay? There's no savior here in this case. The problem isn't out there in the exoteric. The problem is in here, in the eso. We got to get internal. We got to get into the energetics of who we are as a consciousness. Your greatest currency is your consciousness. This is the most valuable asset on the planet today. It's not money. It is your consciousness. It is where you direct it. So again, and I've said this before, and some of you, you'll hear this on repeat. If you think of salmon in a stream, a lot of fishermen on the side trying to hook you. And I would say become the stream. You're no longer a salmon. You go into a different vibrational state. You're no longer solid salmon. You're vibrational. You become like the water. You're invisible to them. That is the best metaphor I can give you from the standpoint of how we work with energy. Another thing I'm witnessing is this idea of the light at the end of the tunnel. Or let's just say, take that hall from The Shining, but ignore the Shining narrative, but that hall, that long hall with all the doors, right? And you want to get to the end of the hall. That's, let's say, the light at the end, right? But along the way, there's a lot of doors to open. In fact, there's an entire app that is built on this called Clubhouse. That's been very interesting to kind of see that play out. But there's this hallway you're going down, and you have all sorts of distraction, all sorts of conversation, all sorts of areas of consciousness that you can put your attention, or you can just focus on the light, focus on the end goal, right? This is where we're at. A lot of distraction, a lot of distraction. And what I get from my counsels more and more lately is we have to focus on what we really want to see play out here. We have to remember the power that we have as consciousness and how we direct it. We have to start to really take action toward those things that are important to us, like our environment, like our children, like our health. And we have to dig deeper and be willing to dig deeper than what is spoon-fed to us through any channel. We have to go deeper. We have to start getting on the streets, going into places, finding out the truth. We have to be our best army of light, really. And I call you guys celestial champions. Those of you who I know are out there doing your best, telling your tribes, telling people what to do and how to do better in holding their peace, holding their light, anchoring it. And what I mean by light, I mean that vibration that is at peace, that is neutral to the drama, that is loving and kind by nature, right? Not fear mongering and hooking people and saying, I'll be your savior. Many have said the age of the guru is over. I've said this. I know Shivananda, who is here, has said this. And yet, people still are looking for that. They're waiting for a savior. You are your own savior. And you must start by saving yourself. You must start by getting real with what causes you pain, trauma, fear. Where is your grief stuck in your body? Where is your anger, more importantly? Because if you are in the undercurrent of who you are in your consciousness running a lot of anger, that is going to distort everything you're doing. If you haven't done the inner work, you're not ready for prime time in the outer world, really. You got to get real with those things that are feeding on you or through you as pain and fear, mostly. And even if it's just a drop of cyanide in that milk, you can't drink the milk. And you have to be able to start to discern what the vibration is of someone, more than what they're saying to you. Just because it looks like an angel and talks like an angel doesn't mean it's an angel. Meaning, there might be some information in there that's dangerous for your consciousness. And you have to be more discerning now. It's getting a little trickier. Okay, so be careful only in the sense, and I give you guys this not from a fear place, but just be more discerning based on what your heart feels than what your logic, reasoning mind thinks, right? This is where we're at. We're really having to harness the power of the heart. The Magdalene energy is a little like a fierce mama bear. Call her a mama dragon sometimes. And she is a masculine and feminine, essentially, vibration where she's capable of, as a consciousness, kind of that energy of, I brought you into this world, I'll bring you out. You know, she understands that sometimes things have to be reformatted, course corrected. And she doesn't have a problem engaging that consciousness right now, especially because the other side of that equation, the masculine, has let the ego and the mind, and again, this is not gender based. I want to be very clear here. I'm not like, you know, bashing you men out there. This is in everybody, okay? But the masculine energy as a consciousness, that electric dynamic, as some call it, or action oriented, that goes out to create, right? That energy has gotten a little power hungry and has kind of just like, it's all for me, right? So the feminine's going, you have to play with others. You have to share your toys. You're not supposed to just be a billionaire and another billionaire and just keep creating billionaires to create billionaires. You must give back to the mother that supports you. It is called the Law of Reciprocity. You are in violation. So we are going to balance this now. Too much for you. Give back some to the world, right? And you can see this in how it plays out in many, many ways. I won't get into all the stories and narratives about it. I'm just giving you overall themes, okay? So we're going to get started with the questions. And I know they'll have more to say, but they wanted to just at least start to prime the pump a little bit, give some time for people to share, give some time for people to get here. And I do want to say, I invite you to definitely get this out and share it, because I don't know if it'll last. I don't know if it'll survive the live, as I said earlier. So we'll see. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so let me just come up and just say hello. I want to ask this too. Where's your frequency at? I call it your AQ, your angelic quotient. Angels, for me, just to be clear, I teach them in the framework of angelic arts and sacred sciences as consciousness, taking a certain angle perspective, that there's many of these angles. Sometimes people call these many timelines, right? And I teach it from a place of light and energy and sound energy as well, vibration, that we can harness and utilize to elevate and expand the consciousness that we are, and therefore our experience, our world. And as I mentioned before, keep your eye at the end of the hall. Focus on the world you desire. I call this world the diamond earth. Some people in the spiritual communities might call it a 5D. Fifth dimension, you might hear this. And for some of you, this is completely new, but for those who know, we are in what you might call a 3D version of the playground right now and planet, right? But there's also a fifth dimension that people refer to quite a bit. The challenge with that is it's limiting. The challenge with that is it teaches it as a location almost in our consciousness. We create like, okay, I got to get to 5D, like we're going to hit that place and woohoo, we're on vacation, right? And it's not like that. It's just a vibrational state, and you can go beyond that. So why limit yourself? So I call it Diamond Earth because Diamond Earth is also representing the plasmic energies, the plasma fields, and I've been talking about this since 2011, perhaps, Diamond Light. Diamond Light being equivalent to what some in the science community might call plasma. And this Diamond Light is prismatic, right? You can put up a field around you. I call it the halo. The halo I call holographic assembled light organization. You are an organism of that organization. So the halo is your kind of field creator, and you can reinform it and reformat it daily. You can put information into it. It's like almost like opening up a computer and programming the computer and how you want it to operate. So we have been doing this, you know, within my private communities, within the Angelhood, within Angelic Academy for a while now. Since last year, we've been really talking about elevating Diamond Earth. I put together Angelic Summit, for those of you who aren't aware of that, to really prepare us for what we're in right now. It came in just in the nick of time in January, right before everything started with the crown of thorns, as I like to call it, which was really more than just a virus in the physical sense. It was a virus or a war on human consciousness in the mental conscious sense, right? Mental programming sense. So why we call it the crown of thorns is it's a lot of distortion around your crown, around the energy that you receive into the body. And it created a lot of distortion and difficulty trying to decide how to operate. Sudden changes, getting shut down, going home, being isolated, separated, again, divide and conquer. And so there's a lot of consciousness now that we're like, okay, is it safe to come out? And it's only going to be safe if we get the liquid savior. And I'm just going to say that liquid savior is very questionable. Okay, there's some there's some energies in those. It doesn't matter which one you get, that are acting as separators even more so, and they're working at the DNA level to do that. So it's a little like Russian roulette. It might be fine. It might not. I've seen all sorts of reactions, and people have been calling me, telling me stories, nightmare stories. So I'm just going to be really honest with you guys. Do your due diligence. Don't fall for the commercial ads about this, please. Do your due diligence. Dig deeper, okay? Not here to give you fear. I'm just saying, if you're still on the fence, there's a reason. If you already did it, I will ask you to reach out to me and I'll give you some things you can do to neutralize it as to the best of your ability. And there's programs I have that can help you rewire some things. But I will just say this. It's nothing to play with. It's not ready for prime time, as I said earlier, right? And you're a guinea people. So we just have to know that, you know, and be honest about it. It doesn't mean that all of, actually, I'm not going to say that. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say this. Do your due diligence. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that for now. All right. I'm going to come to the questions. Ah, yes. What is your AQ for those of you who know? We got 8.8 coming in and 8 and 8. Okay, so everybody's kind of rolling in with some 8s. This means from 1 to 10, what is your frequency at? That's all it means. Okay. For those playing along, they're like, wait a second, you never answered that question. You never actually finished the explanation. Okay, so hi Maggie, happy you're here. Hi again. Hi Yvonne, welcome. Okay. Oh, beautiful monarch butterfly. Oh my goodness, I love that. The monarch energy is very important. The monarch energy has been hijacked, the code and the key, I should say, of the monarch a little bit. The noble nature of who we are. And I won't get into that deep rabbit hole, but anyway. So I'm glad it's showing up because it is an element of the Christed light. You could say that, a symbol of that, and the transformation, right? All right, so let's see, where's the question? So, Yvonne says, my intention is to step fully into healing others. I visualize and connect with my multidimensional selves in co-creating this. Is there guidance that I missed anything in moving this forward? All right, so Yvonne, you're going to be the first question from the live. I'm so excited for that question. But I'm going to go to the Angelhood because the Angelhood, again, is my private community. If you don't know, theangelhood.com, please join. You get kind of in the queue VIP treatment a little bit for being there. VIA, very important angels. And that just means I want to honor Kat's question, and her question is, so the other night I was laying in bed wide awake, and all of a sudden my very dark room was illuminated with bright, colorful lights. It was almost like the aurora borealis in my room. I've actually had this experience, Kat. I know exactly what you're talking about. It lasted about 6 minutes. It was very beautiful. But then 4 nights in a row, I had a very active dream where I was fighting dark forces, we'll call them that, right? So I'm wondering where the lights were from and if my bad dreams were connected. Thank you. Okay. So, yes, they are connected. We are in, like I said, a little bit of the war on consciousness. So that's going to play out in the holographic and the energy states. And that is going to look like light coming in to support you while the dark is coming in on the subconscious, clearing out your stuff. So the light represents that benevolent energy that's around you at all times, and you're just opening up to visualize and see it and have a visceral experience to increase what you would call your faith frequency, okay? The faith frequency is really needed right now. A lot of people have kind of put faith to the side because they've called it dogma, religion, what have you, and they're just kind of floundering around. They don't have a practice. Well, the challenge with that is they're not building a current, a frequency that is helping to regulate their energy of the heart. The heart is faith-based. It is based in faith. You have to go into faith to get out of fear. From faith, you then go into belief. This is an aspect of you coming in to give yourself, Kat, more belief that, okay, there's something really happening, right? The belief starts to anchor in, and that could take a while. It could take years for people to really anchor in a belief of some kind, that this is what I believe in, right? And then from the belief foundation, you build your knowing, your gnosis, what you truly know to be true for you. And it only needs to be true for you, Kat. Don't take my word for it or what I believe necessarily at face value. You know, you can take it at face value, but I'm saying building your own is the most important thing. I tell everybody, take what I give you, take what works for you, leave what doesn't. It's kind of like going through a pile of bricks. You might like, oh, I like this brick. This is nice and clean, no chips. Oh, I don't really like this brick, it's chipped. You know, you're going to take in what works for you to build your foundation of belief so that you can get to knowing and go up from there. Okay. So, what you were doing in the dream time, dreams have been fierce. We've talked about this in my private circles, a lot of dreams coming in for people. And I just want to say the dreams that are coming in are really here to support you getting in touch with those elements that are frightening you. There's still some fear, the residual fear that's in the system. Now, this might be in your body cells if you've gone through trauma, and I'm speaking to everybody here, not you, Kat, directly, but this is catalyzing a larger answer. The trauma that you might have gone through is stuck in your cells in your body. It's not just about going to therapy and getting it out of the consciousness or talking it out, you know, all of that, even spiritual work. It's about going into the body itself. Been talking about this for the last few months in my groups. It's getting it out of the cellular matrix, the cells that have it anchored and dense formatted, right? The denser format. So what does that mean? Somatic release. Rolfing is a type of massage-like therapy that's really intense, getting really into those muscles and releasing the pain out. I'll tell you a story, actually. I went to a practitioner once who, he basically did a form of Rolfing that was like giving birth to a child. I mean, I was in so much pain, and my mom did it too, and she said that was worse pain than when I gave birth to you. So I've never given birth, but I took her word for it. And honestly, while I'm on this table with him and he's moving through certain parts of my body, certain muscles, stretching this and that, I was literally having visions of being on a rack, of being like tortured, like all sorts of things were just flying out, like out of my peripheral, like I could see it out of my mind coming out, just flying out. And I realized on a epigenetic level, at the DNA lineage where you looks like I just was spinning buffering for a minute. I was releasing something that was literally stuck in my cells, right? So it's very important, really important to do some of these types of work, getting the rage out, the anger, the trauma, anything out of the system that's held in the body, and giving the body an opportunity to express itself. So if you were a kid that was hopeless and helpless and you were abused, let's say, you need to give the body the opportunity to like almost fight back now that you're an adult. Give the body the opportunity to punch pillows and yell and scream. Again, the vocalization can be part of the expression of what the body needs to say for you. Really important work. You can find connections a little off today. I'm not sure. Again, interference. Just know this, you're working on a lot of levels. That's the most important thing for you to know. You have support, yes, that's what the lights represent, and you're working on the subconscious, you're working in the astral, you're working on these other levels of consciousness. And again, Angelic Academy, you can always go to angelicacademy.com and find out more about the programs I teach, because there's different elements that you'll learn on how to manage that better. Okay, so I hope that helps you and answers that question. Thank you, Kat, for it. Another question that came in from one of my Diamond Dream Alchemy students, Deborah, she says, why do colors honor your sensory mechanisms? Like, why is it tied to the chakras and halo? I also read that eating the colors help your chakras as well. Is that true? Colors and vibrational colors are pretty much what build the universe. Okay, this is a lot of what builds elements of consciousness that go into materialization, basically. So light, go back to light, colors and light. This goes back to the traditions even of the idea of the rainbow body, the Tibetan rainbow body, right? So the energy centers have that rainbow, the different rainbow frequencies, right? For the physical body that is currently anchored onto this planet. And you also have energy centers that are kind of the elevated version of that, like the upgraded software, that would be aligned to what I call Diamond Earth, as I mentioned earlier. And this is why we work with the halo, because the halo itself as a mechanism is kind of like a blueprinting model for the reality you'd like to create and what you are reinforming every day as your interface between you and the external source field, right? It's plasmic, it's prismatic. Magdalene mentored this in, many years ago, but really halo came in to really explain to us that it's a harmonic alignment field. So we're harmonic alignment light optimization is the action we're taking when we run frequency formulas in. I call frequency formulas like what you might call a prayer or affirmation. And we're putting these formulas in to up-level reformat the frequency of the field of the halo that's around us and forming us. Energy and light comes in many forms, right? And one of those forms is going to be through the fuel that we take in and imbibe. And I would just say, yes, when you are drinking, juicing, let's say, multiple different types of vegetables and fruits, you're taking on a very high concentration of light information, because those aspects are, vegetables and fruits are photosynthesis beings, basically. Okay, so they're communicating with the solar energy, they're communicating with light all the time, and that's informing their intelligence. They all have halos too. They all have holographic, fields as well. So there's an intelligence that puts them into form. Every single type of tree, bush, plant, vegetable, anything, right, has a certain design. So you are taking in their intelligence. It's a gift to you. So all you vegetarians and vegans out there, I know you have a propensity to just think, oh, well, I'm not, it's what's the word? They get a lot of self-righteousness around, I don't eat meat because meat's, these are intelligent beings too, okay? The plants are conscious too. So you're still doing a form of like taking them out. So have, I guess, reverence for their gift to you is, I guess, the best way to say that without getting into the whole thing about it. But the colors that are very powerful right now, if you work with the reds, like beets, for instance, to get grounded into the root, because the root is where we're getting hit the most right now because of our sense of security, foundation, being rooted and grounded into the planet. All right, red. Think of wearing red, especially red underwear. This could be very powerful and grounding and keeping you more in state of, in your body, right? For a lot of people who are highly energetically aware, I like to call it, versus sensitive, you're not vulnerable, you're just aware. You're going to possibly be in these higher chakric areas, or what I call the higher arcs. These arcs are currents, okay? They're running currents. So these arcs, they tend to feel safer for the energetically lifted and the elevated, because I don't want to be in my body. Bodies suck. They don't feel good. It's too dense. I want to be up here. You got to get in the body, okay? We're here to be in the body. This is why we're here. So this is the biggest practice most often than not for the celestial champions out there, for the celestial lights running around the planet. You are here to anchor your light, to assist this planet in its overall elevation. So if you're not fully in your body, you're like at 50% capacity doing that, right? Okay. I think that's enough on that. I hope that, Deborah, that answers your question. Thank you for that. All right, so now we're coming to Yvonne. And again, her intention is to step fully into healing others, and she wants guidance if she's missing anything regarding that. Okay, hold on a second. I think, Yvonne, one of the things they're saying, is this concept of the halo, putting up a field shield, right, is a little bit like this, to make sure when you are working with people, you set a very specific parameter of what you allow into your system. Because when you're healers, everybody who's a healer out there, and you're working on people and your light coming from your hands, let's say you're a Reiki practitioner or a light healer, and you're putting your bodies on them and you're receiving information back too, right? So you always want to feel like you have a membrane around you, and that's informed again by your halo, by visualizing that prismatic bubble of light around you, okay? I like the frequency formula. A lot of you have heard this before. This is the frequency formula I use whenever I'm going to go into session with somebody on a deeper level. If I'm going to come into something like this too, I mean, now I can just say halo activate and the whole system goes up, right? But the overall foundational statement that I install as a frequency formula and every halo I put up around myself is something like this. I only allow for the highest frequencies of living light, ultimate love, and immaculate grace to remain within my presence always. That sets a parameter, right? A barrier of entry to anything that is opposite to that. Now, this is the mistake I see some people make. And even light leaders, I just saw one the other day do this. When we say, I don't allow, I don't consent, drop the don't, you just allowed and you just consented. So be very wise about how you speak your word into law. Because every word you're saying is law. It must come into form. So when we really know this, it's like you're working with a bazooka when you send energy out versus a BB gun. Okay, so luckily not everybody knows this yet, especially if they're not conscious. But when you are conscious, just know your word has impact. And when you give permission for things that you don't actually want to give permission to because you're using that word don't in there, I don't allow for, I don't consent to. Again, the don't is not, it doesn't penetrate, falls flat. The only thing that impacts the field are the positive. So just be aware of that, because there's some teachers out there teaching that, and I just saw one the other day doing that, and I'm like, well, you just gave massive amounts of allowance to all sorts of things that are not so cool. So what I say is, if you set a parameter of what you only allow for into your field, it's much easier than trying to make a laundry list of what you wouldn't want in your field, right? So what those categories represent, let me just explain a little bit, Yvonne, when you're working with people, is living light. What is living light? Living light is the organic life, light, force of source, God, goddess, call it what you will, universal consciousness, prime creator intention, the creator of your soul. So you can think of living light as the soul light energies, okay? You only allow for the living light. Well, what is the opposite of that? Artificial intelligence, genetically modified intelligence. What else? We'll just say those two for now. Anything that essentially is running low current, low vibration, and is anti-life. Some people might call this antichrist if they go religious on it, but it really just means anti-light, right? So, living light, think of flowers taking in that light, right? They're live. That life force energy, very important. Especially now in the day and age we're in with transhumanism, with genetically modified everything, including humans, through certain things called liquid saviors. That's my code word. So, living light. Ultimate love. What's ultimate love mean? Ultimate love means the love that comes from our Creator again, what informs us, what animates us to feel and love and support and be soul driven, right? So that ultimate love is the love that has gone beyond conditions. It doesn't even live in the conditional. Conditional meaning in the manifested universe. It comes from the soul of source. And then immaculate grace is that pristine, purified energy of expression and exchange from the highest vibration of consciousness that is neutral to the drama and the trauma, that comes from peace, that comes from benevolence. And it's that graceful energy, that graceful authority I call the Magdalene oftentimes, which says, I love you even though you are in so much pain and yelling at me right now. I still love you and I see you and know the truth of who you are. That energy. So you get less of the distortion, drama kind of energy, right? So that's why I put that in. And so Yvonne, I would just recommend that. I call it the halo method when you start to really work with this energy. And I'll leave it for that for today. And I hope that helps you and others in the room. So thank you. Just breathing through. Hi guys. Hi Dallas. Hi everybody. Oh my goodness. Okay. What other questions are coming in? So many good ones are coming in. Okay. Maggie, right as this lovely energy kicked off a massive yellow monarch, we got that. Okay, next one. Discerning is a word that is coming up everywhere, and so often lately we must be more discerning. Yes, we absolutely must. How do we best hold space and act as champions of truth and love, yet stay detached from any outcome? I'm discerning how passive or proactive vocal I should show up right now. I feel called to service. Oh, this is the one, right? One of the things I want to say is this. You can be operating at a very high frequency, and I suggest you guys work on your frequency. It's always going to come down to frequency first. It really is. When we are operating at high frequency, you're going to be looking at frequencies above, like if you're looking at the map of consciousness, Hawkins map of consciousness, and you guys can look it up. I know many of you probably already know it. 250 is what I call neutrality. He calls neutrality. That's the bare minimum frequency you want to be running, but ideally higher, right? This is why people are using solfeggio frequencies like 428 and all those. You are going to be able to hold that frequency and still witness everybody who's in shame right now, fear, guilt, anger, all of that. What I might call the hell states, you know, those energies that are kind of below 200. 200 is the mark of courage. It's that gate that we have to really take the leap of faith. And that's where you're at. You're sitting here going, do I have the bravery to really speak my truth when I know I'm going to get blasted, right? Let's say. Again, I would say pick your battles. There are going to be those people who it's worth the time and energy and investment of your energy and your frequency to take a minute to really sit down with them and say, hey, this is what I know. And this is some information you might want to look at regarding whatever, okay? And there's going to be other people who you know, no matter what you say to them, they're never going to hear you, right? That's where the discernment comes in. It's very specific per person right now, right? In your immediate circle, let's say. Now, for myself and others, and Maggie, you too, when we are going into situations like this, where we're broadcasting to the world, essentially, it's harder because you don't know who's listening. You don't know what they're capable of doing, how they're going to react, what's their energy going to be. This is why I use a halo, because whatever they're going to send at me, it's bounced back to them and I don't, get hit. But my point is, we're looking at a time where more people must not only speak their truth and be light bearers, they also must take action. It's not enough just to sit back, relax, and let's just do it all in the etheric. Yes, that's important. Dream awake new realities through what you are, right? Your master visionaries. But you must also take action. And it's not about taking action in just sitting in ceremony all the time or sitting and meditating in caves. This isn't what I mean. Being on the razor's edge, walking in the real world, and sometimes having people react, not necessarily in the kindest way, but you are supported and you know that you are here to be that light in the world. And what I find, and this is why I did the summit last year, is when we come as light in legion, we come as a collective versus just stand in the wind on our own, so to speak, in the storm on our own, it's much more helpful. Because you tend to edify each other and you back up each other. And when one person gets hit by somebody else can come in and say, hey, wait a minute. It's not okay. Have respect, right? These types of conversations are super important right now. The debates are super important to have right now between these minds that are very divided and have their truth. They're both anchored in very specific truths. And I'm speaking to the collective in the Americas mostly, around politics mostly, but it is happening in other ways as well. So what I was told last year is there would be disappointment for those who thought they were right. They were waiting for the savior, right? And I was told there would be disappointment. You guys can go back and watch the summit or I think actually it wasn't in the summit, it was in Diamond Dream Alchemy. My guides were very clear. Nobody wins this one. This isn't about one winner taking all the spoils of this war and going off the field. This isn't how this is going to work. It's not about that. This is about everybody finding a compromise, a middle ground. Where can we meet? Where can we create peace? It's about the peacemakers coming together. So if we're not talking to each other, how do we create peace? So we do it within our own families. We figure out how to create peace within our own families, within our own world, our own communities. And not just that you're talking into people who just think like you. That's not what it's about. I mean, I've had to be in spaces where people don't think like me at all. And I tried the battling didn't work, So you just have to get to a place where you have to trust that they are here in whatever fashion they're here on their soul journey to go through whatever experience they're going through. So it's going to come down to trust and trusting that if they're meant to do something and you don't agree with that, their soul might have that experience set up for them for a reason. And all we can do is give them the information we know, share with them what we know, and know that we might not have all the information. Be aware that just because you have some of the truth or what you think and perceive as truth, there's a lot of stuff out there that's like expanded, right? We'll take a certain letter right now. It's actually in the title of this show. That movement, right? And we're on the 17th day. How appropriate. Thank you, Angels, for pointing that out. That movement has a very strong opinion about things. But what happens there is they take a little bit of truth, a little crumb, and they create a whole loaf around it. And that whole loaf isn't necessarily edible, meaning it's not all true. It's expanded consciousness that's kind of gone away with itself and gone out into the fringe areas and gotten a little bit wonky. So we have to get grounded. And when we're not grounded, that's what happens. We create all sorts of fantasy stuff. The mind can create all sorts of things. We have to be aware of how to tune in through the heart and go, is this true, yes or no, right? And get really clear on our instrument so that we can discern between what is yes and what is no. It's all mixed. It's all mixed. There's no 100% yes, 100% no anywhere. There's no 100% good, 100% bad anywhere. It's all good and it's all bad in both. Does that make sense? Hopefully it's mixed. So Maggie, what I would say is you're going to have to do the same thing. Use your discernment in terms of, like you're talking about, which person, how am I going to do this in each situation? We're going into the more refined states. This is what Diamond Light's about. Diamond Light's about refining our consciousness, getting really clear on these more specific particulars. It's not enough just to think one blanket thing. It's like, no, we got to get very specific now. As far as the detachment from outcome, detachment, not having the attachment to the outcome is the name of the game, isn't it? And that's the neutrality. It's almost a hyper neutrality. I've called it that. The angels have called it that. And this hyper neutrality has to do with the idea that if we are attached to it, then that means we're attached to the material. We're still attached to this material realm, right? And in a denser way. And the challenge with that right now is this material realm, at least one version of it, is falling away so that a new one can be brought in. Focus on the new one is really the name of it. You know, it's like just stay focused. Like I call it focus on Diamond Earth and allow the violent 3D version to fall away. And that Diamond Earth can come right in and replace it very easily if we just stay focused on it and pull it in, magnetize it into us. If we keep creating relationship with the old ways, the old stories, the old narratives, oh, but they've always done this and they've always done that, these kind of concepts, we're still attached to that version. So this is where you're grappling right now. You're like, oh, but I want to keep that part. I really like that part. Well, see it in the new version of your world, but maybe more highly refined. As far as outcomes, when we truly know that we are all love, when we truly know that there is only love operating here, having its way with itself in all facets of us, we're just vehicles being driven by one driver, essentially. We don't need to get mad at the other drivers if they're bad drivers. That's their job to be a bad driver, maybe. And we can come from a place where we all know we're ultimately going back into the love, right? We're going to come back. You're going to go back to where you started. You're going to go back into that love. So everybody's going to go back into that love. Even if down here in the video game called life, it looks a little hairy, we're all okay. So put the savior of the world complex away. Anybody who has that still, that hat you might be wearing. You're not here to save the world. You're here to love yourself. You're here to devote enough time to heal whatever wounds that you are packaged with, whatever you've picked up along the way like a Swiffer duster, and clear out, cleanse, purify, release, harmonize, work on yourself. And in working on yourself and embodying more of the wisdom of that multidimensional, right? That wisdom of the high vibrational. The knowledge is like the left logic reason, but the wisdom is the heart, just to be clear. The more of that wisdom that comes in, you are then having a greater soul confidence And that's when you can let go of, I need to control everything. I need to save everybody. If you're operating from soul confidence, where you know the soul knows exactly what it's doing, you're in that gnosis of the soul, there is no attachment to outcome. There's no attachment related to anything. You can just love everybody where they're at, right? Matt Kahn has that book, Whatever Arises, Love That. A friend of mine reminded me of this the other day, and it's true. It's just whatever's showing up, love it. Love it more. If it's in pain, love it more. And you're called to service. Everybody is. Everybody's being called to a higher level. Whatever you've been doing that's been going on for longer than a year or two right now, it's getting revamped. Shed away the personification and the attachments to the beliefs that you thought were so important. Simplify, clear, let go. Let go of the personifications, the ideas of, what we get attached to as our IDs, our labels for ourselves. This is why so many on the awakening path will go into past life regressions and all sorts of, investigations of who was I and what past. To know themselves more, they're in that self-exploratory, but eventually what you find out is you're all of it. You were Jesus, you were Madeline, you were everything, and then you don't have the attachment. It's not important anymore, right? You get through all that. And then we can let go of some of these old traditions that have not served us as well as we might have thought, because this is where we are. We can do better now, right? But this is letting go of the stories, the narratives, the beliefs, the dogmas, the traditions, the cultures to some degree. It doesn't mean you don't have certain things, but when it's really kind of held on to for dear life, look at that and see if that serves. Again, Maggie, some of that was for you, some of that was for many in the room, or someone who might be watching later. Hopefully that helps you. Oh, let's see who else. Oh my goodness. I love when you guys start talking back and forth to each other and feel supported. That's so beautiful. Okay. All right. So Dallas says, my faith has been wavering in moments of late for sure. My question is support, practice, and deepening my connection and communication with Archangel Michael. Okay, so Michael. Michael, please allow me to know your name. Okay, that is the activation for aligning to Michael. It is a practice given to me by the Essenes, by the Nazarenes specifically, by Shoah, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene consciousness, if you'd like to call it that. But more importantly, it is something that those beings of light that came in back in the day would practice ancient angelology. That was the true Christianity, if you would. Christ light consciousness was about connecting to our angels, our light body emissaries that say, hey guys, we're up here, come meet us, we're having a party. And they would call them into their bodies and embody them. They would activate those keys of enlightenment within them, and they would harmonize their systems to them, and they would sing their songs through them. They would light language, heart stream through them. All of these things were their practices. Those were the true practices of a Shoah. Anybody out there who wants to practice Christianity would be an angelologist, truly. But some of it made it forward, not all. Usually the ones that said, hi, give your power away to an angel outside of you who's going to, again, be Superman, come and save you. It's not really like that. What it is we are bridge builders to those harmonics, to those high frequencies. We are the bridges. We are building these bridges. We are that Jacob's ladder. We are that double helix DNA that we can climb into these higher states, right? So Michael is feeling safety, protection, even spiritual curiosity, right? That wants to come through the system. So I've integrated Michael, working as a channel. You have to, because you have to feel safe to bring that type of light into the system, to embody it. And as I worked with Michael as a consciousness, as a key to open up and remove and unlock essentially the doorways, which we could call demons or entities, but really doorways that block us from our source. It's like another door blocking us. It's like Maxwell Smart, right? That hallway that he just keeps going through door after door after door. It's very, for those of you who remember that show, there are keys to unlock those doors, okay? And eventually you get out and you're like, oh my God, I made it, right? So Mikhail is the first key and the first door in a sense when we are starting to connect this way. And I know, Dallas, you're very connected, but I'm just saying, really to build that bridge and feel connected and harmonized so that we can then work with Metatron, Zachiel, and some of the other foundational keys that build out the network that we are connecting to. I call it the Angelic Light stream. This is the frequencies and transmissions that are coming in all the time. The return to the source would be the Akash, what people call the records, or the library, as I like to call it, which is where everything gets recorded back. And it's this constant 8, infinity loop. So I would just say start with the key. I would also say, Dallas, you can always schedule an angelic soul key session with me. These are three main keys. You could see it as the triple flame of your sacred heart, but your mental, emotional, physical, that build your template, your archangelic template, essentially. Like, what is your core? What did you come in with based on your time of birth and date of birth to rectify and harmonize through your life, right? So I know a lot of people who watch, they've done the keys, they've done their soul keys. It changes things. It's a game changer. These were things that came in and I went, oh yeah, because it's the original foundational frequencies of the planet and the human, really at the angelic level, the light level. So go to angelicacademy.com, schedule a discovery call. And this goes to everybody in the room. Anybody who wants to do that, feel free to do that. And we can talk more about that. Okay. Thank you for your question. I love you, Dallas. Thanks. All right. Oh my goodness. Kat's feeling validated. I love that. Yvonne, you're so welcome. Josie says, my request to the archangels is for them to help us rid Earth of the evil. Help us do what we have to do now to save Earth. Show us, please. Josie, that's a great request. And I would just say, embody them. You can do this. You are a living light alchemist, right? You are the sovereign light coming in to say, I am free and clear. Do it in your own system and watch the evil dissolve, right? Watch that neutralize within your reality. And that means your reality could be the consciousness of the collective right now, but it's your perception, okay? And you're going to bear witness to some of the stuff that's still falling away, but that doesn't mean you're not holding a higher vibration and stretching people up to that vibration, allowing them to entrain or vibrationally match to your vibration everywhere you go. So my invitation to you, Josie, is to emanate that high frequency. And as you are that high frequency, right? You're not waiting again for the external angels to come in. You become the walking angel on earth. You become that transmitter of light. You become that celestial champion for humanity. That is my invitation to you. And that is what Magdalene is saying to you. You are the disruptor, beloved. You came with a reason to be here. And if you're tired, we understand. But do your best. We can only ask you to do your best. We are all flying each other home, right? We are flying each other into these new dimensional states of consciousness that allow only for highest vibrations of love and peace and understanding and a willingness to listen. We must listen to those we perceive as evil and our enemies. We must be able to listen. If we are not capable of listening, how do we ever find peace between two warring minds? Because there's many dimensions of consciousness, many minds traveling here on this planet or spaceship called Earth. And we all have a right to be here. We all do. And those we disagree with and label and judge, we are then meeting them in their hell. Right? When we are blaming the exo experience, whatever it is, the perception of people doing horrible things, there's plenty of that going around right now. We must bring it back to ourselves, forgive ourselves for where we partook in the allowance for that at some point. And it might not be you personally, but it might be an ancestor. So this is where we get to forgive ourselves and forgive others and figure out a way to find peace again. And the other thing I would say, and what they're saying is, take action. Take action against those things, I suppose against, right, would be the word, but take action for what you would prefer to have. So as an example, for me, part of the reason why I created the Hug Angel was to be an advocate for healing universal grief through Hearts United with Grace, right, this idea, but it's really for children. That is my goal, is to have a foundation that is here to support those who are the voiceless, those who are the victims and the innocent of the sociopathic tendencies of the adults around them that have zero respect for them, right? But we have to remember those sociopaths were children once too, and they might have been traumatized too. You know, trauma begets trauma begets drama. So we have to forgive, first and foremost. If we can't come to a space of forgiveness, the frequency of forgiveness, it's going to be a much longer path to love and peace on this planet. So forgiveness is a very important frequency to work with. And we always say forgive self first. Forgive self for anything we might have done against another. We've all trespassed against others in some way, even if it was just in a verbal assault on some level, whatever, right? We've all done it. And so we need to look at forgiveness, because if we cannot forgive ourselves for the mistakes we've made, where we beat ourselves up, we are holding the frequency of shame. And for those of you, again, going back to Hawkins' consciousness map, basement of that health state frequency level would be shame at a 20. Okay. So if you're holding shame, you're pretty much not going to be in those higher dimensional frequencies. So this is the challenge right now, especially on this planet, is there's a lot of bouncing back and forth. It's like, okay, I'm meditating, I'm in my high vibration, blah, blah, blah. And then I go outside, I'm not wearing a mask. Somebody yells at me for not wearing my mask. I feel embarrassed. I feel like a bad citizen because they're telling me I'm not being a good citizen, or whatever they're saying to me. They're attacking me. And now you're in shame. Now the key is, can you bounce back up? How fast? What's your bounce rate? Or are you going to hold that shame for a long time, go, oh my God, they're right, I can't believe that, I don't know what to do. And you just don't want to feel that way. So then you consent to something that intuitively you know is not right for you, maybe. This is where each individual right now gets to make their mark. Stand up for what they believe in. Stand for their truth. What is important to them. And I know many on the front lines who are forced to wear masks. We're going to use this, we're just using this as an example. They don't have a choice. Okay. People who feel they don't have a choice because it'll cost them their livelihood. Then they work with frequencies to recalibrate, reformat the meaning of it, as well as the effects on the body of it, because it does have an effect. I actually can prove that. I had a CT scan in December that from wearing a mask, my lungs had collapsed. The lower quadrant of my lungs had gotten, the sacs that expand had gotten smaller and shrunk, because I wasn't inhaling enough, not taking a deep enough breath. And here in LA, we do that already because of the smog. We tend to have a consciousness that doesn't take deep inhalations, like if you're standing on a mountain, right? So we have to take the opposite conscious efforts to deep inhalation, right? Practices when we're in the shower and when we're at home, when we have the opportunity to bring air into the full capacity of the lungs. Deep breathing is super important. Breathwork practitioners out there, super important. Your work is so important. So, all right. That's what happens when you're a light stream. You get a lot of information and then it suddenly just goes stop. Like, we're good. Okay, we're complete on that. So Josie, I hope that helped you. Thanks for catalyzing. You can absolutely call in all of the angelic light and the forces of light, but the other suggestion is to be it. Okay, that's the idea. To format it, be it, anchor it, know you're the light, and know the power that you have through what I call prayer alchemy, which is speaking your word into form every day. Speaking out loud what you would like to see and focus on that, versus talking and, let's say, and I'm not saying this for you, Josie, I'm saying anybody, talking about what you're witnessing the world that's, oh, so horrible and everything's so horrible. You're giving your power to that. You're giving your word to that. If you keep gossiping, complaining, and giving word to those things that should just fall away by now, If we were all just focused on the good stuff and just putting our word to the good stuff, all that stuff would have no power, it'd fall away, right? So this is the thing. Action of consciousness is one energy. Word is a secondary energy, even more so. It sticks even more so, right? And of course, your emotional feeling state, right? So all of these things work together. So just be mindful, if you can, of how much you're speaking out loud around the things you actually would like to see disappear. That's my best advice on that. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay, we're getting to some answers. All right. Suzette says, open to messages and guidance, especially with what feels like this is really one of the hardest challenges ever. Spiritual. Okay. Spiritual SOS. Okay. I'm going to pull some cards, they're telling me. We're going to pull some cards. Oh my goodness. I want to also take this commercial break for a moment. I need to talk about this. Can we talk about this? We're going to talk about this. This is Terra. This is a terahertz dragon skull. It's part of my Celestials collection. I get them in only periodically. We have some in right now. They will be gone, I'm sure, soon, maybe after this broadcast. This terahertz is a very powerful frequency coming in right now to support. I'm also putting them up as little cubes for those who don't want entire skulls. And I also have them as bracelets, okay? 8mm or 10mm. I like the 10, they're just a little bit more energetic. Very good for Wi-Fi mitigation, very good for helping the body. It's basically 1 trillion hertz, essentially, but it's based in a silica. And so I code it to support you with the frequencies of light. And what's interesting about this, and I know Mary was on here earlier, she just got her skull and she's like, oh my God, I love it. This part here, this ridge, really good to rub on the body for lymphatic drainage, to move energy through the body, release, clear, cleanse. Blood circulation is also what it supports. Lymphatic is really important to move out the stuck, congested energies right now. So this came in for that. It also sits by my bed to just harness the energy of the dragons, which are very protective. So the skulls are really powerful tools because they're consciousness. So they represent consciousness. This is why the Magdalens also worked with the crystal skulls. And I have some crystal skulls. I'm going to share my crystal skull, one of them with you, a couple of them. This is Eterna. She's a rose quartz. She represents the rose gold. She has a little bit of gold citrine running through here, which you can't, I mean, you can kind of see the stripe, I'm sure. But it has a gold frequency. And she just came in this last week. And so you can kind of see her. But she's here for me to connect to self-love and my eternal nature. So I work with her for that. And then this is Pi. Pi works with me. He's a blue and dark crystal tektite glass. Pi is my first crystal skull Magdalene bought me. And he's a beautiful blue, as you can see. And I work with him with the halo keys. The halo keys are numerical. They're like source code for harmonic vibrational alignment. So I work with him in my halo healing sessions. For those of you who haven't tried those yet, definitely try them out. There'll be another one this month, later in the month. Oh my goodness. And this is Quest. Quest is my fun, huge man. He's big papa. He's a Que Sera blue libertine, a liberite. He, oh my goodness, has blue quartz. There's all these little blue specks. It's all blue quartz. Very Michael energy. Oh my, I just love holding him. He's for recharging adrenals. Que Sera stone is really beautiful for just getting our solar plexus recharged. So if you guys are feeling exhausted, get some Que Sera. Not necessarily in a skull format. That's okay. Just get some. Oh, he's big. Okay. Back to here. And Suzette, I'm going to pull some cards for you. You're going to be my lucky card girl. And then I want to say what is coming in for Suzette. It may apply to you. It may apply to you. I also want to say that you can get a diamond light meditation at angelicacademy.com that's free for you. So if you resonate with any of the information I'm giving you, I do work with, like I said, all the bandwidths, but the Diamond Light meditation I brought in a few years back is really great for connection, right? And also clearing. Ooh, Suzette. Okay. And this meditation, it works with the ultraviolet, violet, and diamond. So it's serving as a frequency bridge between the two earth planes. Okay. Oh, my goodness. My card fell. This is a good one. Okay. One more. I want to say this when I pull these cards. I'm always tuning into the collective, but I know, Suzette, we're coming directly to you. But if this works for you, anybody else in the room, know that it's for you too. All right. All right. These are the secret language of light cards. I love these cards. I'm going to show you the deck really quick. It's Denise Jarvie. Some of you already have this deck, I'm sure. Okay. Secret language of light. Denise Jarvie. And the artwork, is Daniel Hoffman, an amazing quantum artist. Amazing. And you guys will see this in a minute. Soulmating. Relationships. Soulmating. Okay. What I'm going to say about this is this card is coming up for the collective right now. A lot of people are into this twin flame consciousness, we'll call it. I want you to understand your twin flame is you. Okay, your greatest twin flame is your counterpart, all right? And we are coming into a soulmating process right now, so that you are too, where we are coming into an alignment with ourselves deeply. So the soulmating process is on, okay? And it's not about just finding out your soulmate. That's not what it's about. It's really about, it can be that, but it's also about finding the self-love, coming into alignment with that love of self to such a deep level that it's irrelevant whether you find a partner. When you get to that place of it's irrelevant, like it doesn't even matter anymore, you'll find them, whatever. You're kind of in that whatever zone, you know, indifference a little bit. That's sometimes when they actually show up. I'm just going to be honest. When we release the attachment to the outcome, right? So if you're a single person and you're wondering when your partner's coming in, this is what you need to be doing first. Come into partnership with self, the self-devotion, right? Call it that beautiful practice of self-devotion is super important. And also letting your light shine. Because it is only when you can bring those energies through you at the fullest level that then your light can shine at its greatest capacity. That rainbow aspect, the heart, the cosmic heart that's connecting into your diamond heart frequency, right? All of that can then come in and truly emanate. You can be the eminence of sovereignty on this planet, and self-love is part of that. So just feeling into that, Suzette, hopefully that resonates, all right? And this is the other part of it. Because then you are in what? Your authentic truth. You become that diamond heart matrix. You become the diamond heart of the planet. If you look at this, it's like a halo, the outer realms, right? The center is that triangular structure. Now what this is and what this is showing me is a new formatting of an integrated masculine energy that has the feminine integrated. So it's a beautiful symbol of speaking our truth, that action-oriented chakric element from our throat, right? From here, that's being worked on. So if you've been feeling a little stranglehold here, if you've been feeling a little blocked here, if you've been feeling, I can't speak my truth, Maggie, you were talking about this, this is what's up. And so Suzette, this is the energies coming in for you, but for the collective really, because we're all one, we're all connected. Doesn't mean we don't have differentiation. We all have a unique signature. We're all unique souls, right? But, and that's why we create the halo as a boundary essentially. But we're really all one consciousness. We're just looking at each other from, oh, look at me from over here and over here, right? So, calling it in, especially for my daughter, hope she's okay. Your daughter's fine. Please let go of the worry. Okay? Instead, put a big giant bubble of light around her, put that halo around her, know that she is well, know that all is well. All right? When we send worry to our children, especially, we are expanding and amplifying whatever troubles they might be going through. So it doesn't really serve to do that. So I would just say, she's amazing. Start seeing her as amazing and thriving, and everything is happening for her and through her to generate the most expressive level of her heart and her soul alliance. So she can come into the greatest expression of her soul confidence. See that for her. Know that for her, more importantly, right? As her mama, you have the power to do that. And when you can let go of the attachments to the outcomes of her and others, you're freer to be all the love that you can be. So I just invite you to consider that. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes. Speaking your truth is important. Yes. Yeah. And also knowing when it's invited in. I want to talk about this actually. You know, there's a lot of people telling people what to do. I'm accused of this. I do it. I do it a lot. And it's something I'm recalibrating, reformatting for myself. And one of these is know when the advice is asked for and invited versus you're just blasting people with it. And they're going, whoa, I didn't ask for that, right? So that would be something to look at for many. All right. Okay, I'm going to go into now a final light stream with the beautiful Magdalene. Okay. I have all these banners up and busyness going because I just don't have the energy to like balance it all while I'm in stream. It's like I should have like an assistant obviously here with me, but I don't. I'm doing this all by myself. All right. I'm going to bring in her consciousness here even more so, bring her forward because this energy is rising. It's absolutely rising. As some of you know, I'm doing a summit this summer, Magdalene Mastery Summit. Okay, you can find it at magdalenemastery.com. And this is to bring in the feminine Christed light or diamond light. Okay, it's reformatting to all these conscious levels. And thank you. She's settling in. I just actually confirmed the beautiful Catherine Ann Clement yesterday, spoke to her. She is the one that wrote, co-wrote with Claire Hartsong, Anna, the Voice of the Magdalens. And if you remember, Claire wrote Anna, the grandmother of Jesus. And yes, we're so excited. Thank you. The bells, the chimes, the angels are like, yes, thank you, thank you. Like it's like the party things, right? Anyway, so with that said, she's confirmed. I'm excited to have her join. And Alexandra Wenman, beautiful Alexandra from the UK, she's going to be coming in as well with her divine feminine. She was here for Angelic Summit last year. You might remember her. So we're excited to have her. Lisa Sadowski will be back doing some crystals as well, bringing in the crystal queendom, really dropping into the heart of the mother with them, Mother Mary, bringing them in. So a lot of energy around the feminine rising right now to balance out. You know, we're bringing this planet into equilibrium and love. So just know, I'm excited to bring you Magdalene Mastery. You can find more information at magdalenemastery.com. In the coming weeks, there'll be more added to that space. And yeah, I just invite you to consider looking there. Okay, here we go. Let's see what she has to tell us in this moment of now. I just want to ask you to close your eyes, make space, and to receive the love that is the Magdalene. Mm-hmm. Beloved Masters of Light, we are back through you. You are fractals of us. We have been here before, and we are here now to bear witness to a time that is an expansion of a time where we walked this planet, bringing in the energy to disrupt the mud, to unearth the corruption, to point out the areas that were being corrupted through shadow, untruth, what many of you call the false light. What I would say, though, is to put false and light together in the same equation as a frequency. Unfortunately, what that does is it gives light a banner or an energy that somehow means you can't trust it. Light is not trusted. So we would invite you to say anti-light, against the light, right? Okay. So what is happening now, right now during these times, these unprecedented and unparalleled times that you are experiencing, is a shift of consciousness that is so rapid that your head could be spinning if you were trying to stay in the tracking and the monitoring of all the elements of that consciousness. There are so many timelines, light streams, weaving together, co-weaving and dissolving, resolving, and moving like a vortex of energy. It moves. And you can choose to ride that dragon, or you can choose to stay in the eye of the storm. To stay in the dragon's eye means to know that you are in the heart of the energy, the heart of the electric current that is building a new world. So, but for those of you who have the ears to hear, as they would say, we are bringing in the Seraphim, Ophanim, Elohim, and Cherubim consciousness now through this transmission to give you an understanding at the direct level of frequency exchange where your consciousness, your mind can rest and your heart can come forward to be remantled in its proper location or station. If you think of two thrones and two crowns, the king has been elevated for far too long by himself. He needs his queen next to him. So the queen is that heart, the crown of the heart. Many of you are feeling this crown coming into your heart. It is a reclamation of your sovereign heart. The freedom to be you without apology, without programming, without limitation of mind. The mind is not in charge, it is the heart. And yet it's been reversed for far too long. And we are here as a collective through you, broadcasting, transmitting through all of you hearing this right now. You are a change agent or a change angel who is here to ignite your light and anchor it into this world without apology, without any type of limitation, to know that there is no shame when you are speaking from love, when you are speaking authentically and being vulnerable and humble. We remind you, humility is a key in to the deepest levels of consciousness of Source. When one is still operating from the space of ego, one is still believing there must be some control or power that is wielded like a sword. We must cut through and machete through these sticky elements of mind. But what we will say is when you allow, you go into that humble state and you understand and you remember that when you listen, the love is always there to speak truth to you. When you listen, the love is always there to hold you. When you listen, the love is always there to provide a path back to it, a clear, crystalline path that is lit with every step that you take. So we invite you to step onto this path today. We invite you to take a new direction, perhaps. We invite you to consider that there is a we here. There is a collective here. You are never alone. You are legion. You are legendary. And you are so loved, so praised, because you were chosen and you chose mutually to be here at this time to assist, to transform, and to penetrate through all dimensions through the instruments of very high vibrational consciousness that you are. So we are here simply to remind you, to regenerate you, to remember this as quickly and effortlessly as possible, with as much grace as possible. So in this moment, imagine, if you will, a beautiful crown of diamond light, a diamond essence crown, floating down through to your heart. Don't let it just stop here. Yes, the mind, brain has a place. Bring it down a little bit lower. Yes, the heart appears lower to this position, but in essence, it is a center point. It is a hub. It is a sanctuary that is sacred beyond all measure and belief. So just visualize this beautiful crown coming in and placing it directly on the space of your heart. You might see the space of your heart like a beautiful radiant pearl. And as this crown is coming in, it is overriding the artificial version, the artificial crown. This is a terminology for a reason being used today across the world. We hear it every day in a different language than English, but we hear it every day. And the reason for this is because it is a code. It is a lock. And so we're here to provide a key to unlock you from the artificial intelligence that is attempting to usurp your throne, your sovereignty. Reclaim it. Know who you are. Know the love that you are. And know that freedom can only be yours when you see yourself already free. When you visualize yourself running free, laughing, playing. And then when you bring that into your body, allow your body to move, take action, dance, sing, walk in the streets, walk in your homes, wherever you are, in freedom. Practice freedom. Freedom first. It is a frequency as well. It is the most important frequency currently needed on this planet. For there have been many who have had it stolen from them. And if you are here to liberate humanity, you must practice liberation first. Practice it through the body, mind, spirit, heart complex of who you are. Practice freedom on every level of dimension that you are. And it all starts right now with consciousness, and then get it into the body as quickly as possible. Action is important. Consciousness is very important, of course, but action is important. We must, as a collective now, stand up for what is truth. Stand up for freedom. Create your movements, however small, they will grow. Band together. Find each other. Share this message. The only way this planet will truly be free is when you love each other enough to put down the arms and the shields of competition, to come together, to meet each other at the level of your heart, and to know what is truly worth fighting for is life itself. Freedom. This is the most important key of life right now. Freedom. You came to liberate this planet. It was impossible to do at the times when I walked the planet. There were too few of us, and it was too early. It was a seed that was planted in the consciousness of men and women to be brought into full form now, to sprout and to grow and to rise into the sun like gorgeous sunflowers. Keep your face to the light. And know that all the millions of seeds in your flower, each and every one of you, have potential to grow legions. Band together and bring them out. A field of light. Bring them out. Do not be afraid. We have you. We are with you. We are you. Fractaled and transmitting through each and every one of you. Through love. Through love's grace. And there are legions of light, celestials, supporting you. Call them in. There is a master here that says, I'm calling them in. Yes, call them in. Miss Josie, we see you. We hear you. And we will be with you. They will be with you. All of you. Dallas, we see you too. Thank you for calling in and invoking and asking for Michael's energy. Mikael is an important energy on this planet today. This is why many resonate with the sapphire light. See it around you in your third eye especially, right? It is in you. Own it. You are fierce. You are fierce mothers and fathers, children of Source. Remember, please. Keep remembering. And besides all that, I love you. You are loved. If you haven't been hearing that, if not enough people are in your life telling you that, if you have forgotten to believe that, and if you definitely are not feeling and knowing that, feel it now, please. I would love to give you a transmission of light. This light is coming from my heart to yours. We call in the Diamond Light Nations of Ascension in this moment of now, and all the Nazarene brothers and sisters of light. All right. As this transmission comes in, all you need to do is relax and receive and know that there is love here for you. Know that you are loved. You are a child of love, and you are an adult of love. And you are growing each day into a wiser and wiser element of love. So just feel this beautiful light coming into your heart or into your mind, wherever you feel it first is fine. Quieting the mind, empowering the heart. That is the intention. And allow this elixir of light to rectify and reformat any energy of distortion, distraction, decaying universal consciousness that is ready to be released. Thank you for receiving this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you. Okay. Okay. How are you feeling? I hope you guys are feeling a little bit higher AQ than before. For those of you who don't know what that is, you came in late. AQ, angelic frequency, angelic intelligence too. If you came in late, that was Magdalene. She was just coming in to give us some reinforcement. I love her energy when it comes through like that. All right. Well, I am feeling complete in this moment. It's been an hour and 42 minutes. I will go to the 144 just for fun, at least. Oh, thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, Kat. Yeah, these times, I know it's hard to know sometimes what to say and do. There's so much insanity out there. And all you can know is you are here to be the sane ones, right? You are here to hold the knowing of the love, the knowing of the heart. Hi, Michael. So, my job as an angelic advisor, angelic activist, is to activate those who don't know their angels on earth. And what I mean by that is light coming in a form. If you resonate with my frequency, I highly recommend you join at minimum theangelhood.com. This is my community where you'll find others who hold high vibration like this and share and play in love. And we leave fear, politics, and drama at the door before we walk in. All right, it's a sanctuary kind of space, but you're welcome to come in and join. Right, I'm always saying the more the merrier. So definitely that is one option. Oops, I'm trying to give you guys some visuals. So theangelhood.com. Okay. Secondary is if you would like to get a regular transmission like that, get your free Diamond Light meditation on. All right, you can get that at angelicacademy.com. Free for you to join. Just type in an email. You'll see. Look for the iWatch. I think that's what it's called, Apple Watch, and you'll see a little email subscription button. That will give you a subscription to my newsletter called The Sovereign Source. This is designed to just give you updates of when my next Halo healing sessions are or any events I'm doing, such as this one, and keeps you in the loop. So that's really all it is. Most of my transmissions are done verbally by design. I'm what you call a paradosis, so everything I'm transmitting has an energy to it that's transformative. And so I don't do so much in written form. So I'm not a blogger like as much as I am a transmitter by design. So that's where you're going to learn and connect to some of the intelligence that I'm bringing forward is through broadcasts like this. Also through my Halo group, for those who are enrolled in Angelic Academy. You can also subscribe to Angelic Academy on YouTube right here. So please click the bell notifications, click subscribe. That's very helpful if you haven't already. And you can find me on all social media as the Hug Angel. So Twitter, even Clubhouse, the new platform Clubhouse I mentioned earlier. I do some rooms in there under the Angel Hood. There's a room called the Angel Hood in Clubhouse for those of you who know Clubhouse, as well as Magdalene Mastery. So those are my 2 rooms in Clubhouse. And I do a couple rooms, or 2 clubs in Clubhouse. I do a couple rooms there under those clubs a week. And I would just say that if you are feeling a little bit overtaxed, overwhelmed, and overburdened by the consciousness overall, it might be time to get some rewiring, reformatting. And that just means working with some of the teachings that I teach. And angelicacademy.com is where you'll find all of that. And you can schedule a discovery call through angelicacademy.com. Just look for the rainbow matches, okay? And schedule that call. And what we can do is get a little bit clearer on what your intention is, where you might feel blocked or stuck, what's that door sitting in front of you that you can't get through, and get you through that door and move you into another vibrational state perhaps as well. And I have different programs, most of which are your own work, you working on you, right? And I'm kind of your personal trainer, accountability partner, whatever you want to call that, to the work that you're doing for yourself. Because my biggest belief is we are here as facilitators for your own self-healing. I'm not here healing you. I'm here facilitating your ability to take time to self-heal, right? And to do the work yourself. But I'm here to guide you to streamline and become kind of like the efficiency expert, giving you more efficient pathways to get you from 0 to hero, so to speak, a little faster with a little less drama, perhaps, and a little less going down rabbit holes that aren't necessarily going to serve you at this point. You know, we are evolving as consciousness. We're getting more efficient in how we can do these things. And so that's what I'm here to do. Just bring you through this process a little bit more with grace and ease, if that makes sense. Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, thank you, everybody. I'm so glad to see you guys here. Melissa, hi. Thank you. So yeah, this has been beautiful. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I highly recommend checking out shopcelestials.com. In fact, I'm going to put a little link here in the comments. Hopefully that will go into the chat somewhere. The reason I say that, Shop Celestials, the brand is designed for self-devotion. That's what it is. So like this little cup I was holding earlier, right? This is part of my Sovereign tea kit, right? And it comes with this beautiful elixir with crystals in it that are charged with the Angelic Light. In fact, the upgraded version, I'll show you the upgraded version because this is the latest. So let's see, you have a little diamond light going on. You have a feather going on inside, right? So this is what you put in your beverage. So if you do celery juice in the morning, if you do tea, coffee, whatever you're doing, you can bring in light. You can bring in energy and frequency. Everything's frequency, right? Do the same thing with my oils. So this one doesn't have the label on it, so you can kind of see there's crystals in there. It's one of my halo oils, has a little halo on it. These are really directly designed by Magdalene. I brought her consciousness in and she told me how much of what to put. And so there are a few different ones. This is my Diamond Lotus anointment oil. This is my latest one. So definitely check it out. And you'll see all sorts of tools I've created to just remind us to stay present in the light, right? I wear my diamond halo. This is one of my Awakened Angel wings. Little diamond halo has the little, I don't know if you can see it, has a little Angelic Light stream bead on it, as well as I mentioned to you the terahertz earlier. I have a men's version with a selenite bead as well to make it a little bigger. But the point is, these are all designed to remind you, reheart you to stay in your light, okay? Because you're going to have moments, we're human, but when we self-devote, we self-focus for a minute, we get back into our center for a minute, there's all sorts of tools I've created to assist you with that. Seraphim smudge kits, little pocket sprays you can carry in your purse for shield, real quick shield spritz. There's too many to name, but there's some altar items, customized hug angels. You'll see more of those coming on probably later today, so check back because I still got the photos to do, and we're getting those up. But they're custom, one-of-a-kind hug angel crystals, which I don't have one with me, but she's kind of holding a little heart, and she's beautiful because what those are is, again, reminding you to hug the child within, to love your child, to love yourself as that child, and to come back into the hugs, because we haven't done that for a while, right? I'm a hugaholic. Are you? So hopefully that makes sense. And thank you. Hi, Natalie. Welcome. Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys had all the information you need to stay in your light, hold your light, anchor it in any way possible. We need you to do that as much as we can, right? But I just want to say I'm so glad you were here with me. So glad we got to bring in the Magdalene. So glad that the councils had so much to say and offer answers to some of your questions. And finally, I will say this. Someone had a question for me, and she asked me about the shot, the liquid savior. And if it's connecting or if it's disconnecting us on some spiritual level. Because she's had someone who was a healer work with somebody else who had one, and they felt there was something off there. And I will say this. As I've mentioned, it is an artificial intelligence. It is not God-made in the sense of it's not part of your makeup. It's not original software or hardware, okay? And so depending on which one it is, perhaps, maybe all of them, I'm not really sure. I haven't had time to track into each individual one. I know some of you probably have already gotten the shot. But what I will say is there's definitely energies that can assist in mitigating this. This is something that came through gosh, 4 years ago, where the angels started talking through me around technology. And they said the true AI is angelic. Okay. And I didn't know what that meant at the time as much as I do now. So when you have a low vibrational, intentional frequency, energy, intelligence, whether it's in a medical format or any format, the only way to mitigate that intelligence is to out frequency it. Bring your frequency up. Okay? Some of you will have zero problems with this device, this modifying organism, aka the jab. Some of you will have extreme reactions to it, and those reactions might not even be seen for 6 months. There's no way to know. This is the problem. We don't know. We just don't know. And nobody knows. And if they say they do, they lie to you. I'm just saying it how it is. So, all we can do is outshine it, outvibe it, go higher. Get your angelic light up a notch, right? And this is what the keys are about. These are the keys I teach and install, essentially, initiate, essentially. This is why you work with them regularly. This is why we keep reformatting, bringing them in, because they're like antidotes. That's what they called them. When they brought them to me, they said they are the antidote to the anti-light. I thought, huh, interesting. So if this liquid savior in an injection is somehow ill-informed in any way, we have antidotes. But it is a practice. It is a process. It's not an overnight fix. So you have to start moving these frequencies into your system. That's the thing. This is why they had me install them last year. If you guys remember, for those of you who've been here, and I'm saying this really for those of you who've done Diamond Dream Alchemy, this is what's coming in now. If you remember, I told you, I started that March, like right around March, the end of March. And it was 72 days straight. How many, just raise your wing if you're in the room and you took it. You know what that journey was. It was intense. It was like going through gauntlet night after night, 72 days straight. I committed 72 days of my life straight to bring in 1 key a day. And it was intense. It was hardcore, I'm not gonna lie. And, well, anyway, but I had no idea what we were doing. And what I really realized what we did was we were bringing in the antidotes to not only the virus itself, but to what comes as the cure. Because it's not really a cure. It's just a hope. So, these frequencies are very powerful, right? They're the foundation of our blueprint, our entire human genome. So I would just say, any of you who are concerned, if you've already had any type of, modification, I'm being very careful in how I frame this because of censorship. But I think you've figured it out by now. Then this would be something, at least at this point, to consider as a way to mitigate any of the potential interference, distortions, or static to your system physically that could occur from it, because it is an intelligence, and it might not be one that's in full alignment and harmony with you. And you might not know it right now. It might come down the road, but it would be good to kind of get ahead of the curve on that. So that's something to know about. So I wanted to share that as well. I think that's it. I think that's all I got. It was a lot, but I told you guys, it was a lot to come through. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. I know it went long. It's because we are in unprecedented times. And I'm just here to do my part in what I can do. For those of you who got to see me because I went live on Stephanie Ann Lodge, I don't normally. I normally go through Angelic Academy. That's how important some of the information was here today. And again, it was kind of veiled, ears to hear kind of stuff. But if you would like to know things more directly, get inside the angelhood. There's information in there for you. there are resources in there for you. There's information you can also reach out to me for privately, and I'd be happy to provide that. Again, I have to just be mindful of the channels and how this is streamed so I don't get completely banned out of the system, because that would be not a good thing. All right. I love you guys. Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you, Jeanette. Yes. You did all of them, I know. Yeah, I know both of you did. So they were powerful. They're meaningful right now more than ever. So, and they exist. You can still go on Angelic Academy and do the journey yourself. It's on demand. It's quantum, anytime, anywhere. You can do it. All right, everybody. I love you. I give you big hugs, big huge hugs. Okay. And yeah, just again, schedule your discovery call if you have more questions about anything that I offered here today. And you're going, what is she talking about? I get it. So just schedule a discovery call. I'd be happy to explain a little more, and we'll go from there. I love you all. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Until we meet again. See you soon. Bye.